Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I guess we're supposed to get started. I'm not real sure. um, my co-host is stuck in traffic, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started and do this on my own. Let me get to the next slide. Okay, we'd like to welcome you to the RT breakout session. This session will be presented by myself, Michelle Jones from Lavonner Children's Hospital, and hopefully Michelle Tackett will be joining us soon. She works at East Tennessee Children's Hospital. The goal of this education session will be as follows. We're going to discuss care and cleaning of general respiratory therapy devices. So in this section, we'll talk about cleaning just your regular nebulizers, MDI spacers, Arabicas, that sort of thing. Then we're going to discuss the care and cleaning of specialty respiratory therapy devices, such as the Altera device and the eFlow Rapid. And then allow time for questions and answers. Can everyone still hear me real good?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start with equipment care and cleaning. To start with, we're going to kind of talk about the difference between non-disposable and disposable nebulizer cups. So oftentimes when you're in the hospital, you're using certain nebulizer cups. Those are disposable, and a lot of times people want to take them home and use them. So we just want to kind of go over the difference so that you understand between non-disposable and disposable cups. So the non-disposable, both of them are single patient use. The non-disposable, which are typically your heavier duty ones, are going to last up to 6 months. The disposable ones, which you often see in the hospital, are going to last 1 to 2 weeks. The non-disposable you can sterilize, and the disposable you cannot sterilize those. So we don't really recommend those for at-home use. So we're just going to kind of show you the difference in the two. It'll kind of show you some pictures, so maybe you can see if you're using the correct ones or not. So these are going to be your PARI. This is going to be your PARI LC Plus that is non-disposable. And this is the PARI LC that you might see used in the hospital. That's one-time use, that's disposable. And the next one is the PARI Sprint. And then this is non-disposable, so it can be used up to 6 months. And then this would be just a regular disposable nebulizer that you might see used in the hospital. This is going to be your side stream that is non-disposable. It has a light blue top. And then the disposable side stream has a blue top. So those might be the one that you would see in the hospital. We would not recommend you using those at home. And this is your Aero Eclipse. This is the non-disposable, and this is the disposable kind. They look real similar, but just to show you the difference. So every day you should start your therapies with clean and disinfected nebulizer sets. There's 5 steps in caring for your equipment. First, you need to clean it, disinfect it, rinse it, air dry it, and then store it. So first, after each therapy session, you're going to rinse your nebulizer cups. So you're going to disassemble all the equipment, your nebulizer cups, your Arabica, your spacer. And then you're going to rinse them with sterile water after each session. You don't have to clean the tubing. If you clean the tubing or any of the valves, then that might not dry and it will mold. So we want to avoid doing that. Shake off the excess water and let it air dry on a clean cloth until the next use. And when you're rinsing those, you want to make sure that you're rinsing with sterile water, not tap water, okay? And at the end of each treatment day, you're going to place all equipment aside for cleaning so that you can then sterilize and disinfect it. At the end of each day, you're going to wash each part of your equipment. So again, you're going to disassemble it. You're going to fill a bowl or sink, or if you have a bowl with some warm faucet water, and you're going to use a mild detergent and kind of put that in there. You're going to put all the pieces of the equipment in there and kind of swish it back and forth and wash it real good. You're going to then rinse it thoroughly by submerging it in clean water. And you don't necessarily have to use sterile water at this point because we're going to sterilize everything after this use. You're going to shake off the excess water. Oops, I think I went to the next slide too fast. You're going to shake off the excess water, and again, you're going to let it air dry. And then you're going to use some disinfecting methods. So heat disinfecting methods are electric steam sterilizer, or you can boil for 5 minutes, microwave for 5 minutes, or put it in the dishwasher at 158 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. So here you see a picture of a steam sterilizer, and you're just going to use that according to the manufacturer's guidelines. And then you can also boil the equipment, and the way you would boil it is place all the nebulizer parts inside of the pot, submerge them in water and boil it for about 5 minutes, and then take them out carefully and allow them to air dry. You can also microwave them for 5 minutes or use the new sterilizing bags like you use with breast pump equipment. You can do that as well. You would also just want to take them out afterwards and let them air dry. Or you can use the dishwasher at 158 degrees for 30 minutes, and you want to place everything on the top rack. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
You want to take over, or you want me to keep going?
No, I can go on with the next slide.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Michelle Tackett is joining us this is her part of the presentation. So I'm going to let her go ahead, y'all.
Okay, so just as she said, this is one of the 2 cold sterilizing solution options, and you just want to fill a bowl with the parts, make sure that it's completely filled over top of all the parts, and let it soak in 70% isopropyl alcohol for the 30 minutes. I'm sorry, it's 5 minutes for the alcohol, and then it's 30 minutes for the 3% hydrogen peroxide. So just to repeat, sorry about that, it's 5 minutes for the alcohol and 30 minutes for the hydrogen peroxide. And because these solutions, of course, are hazardous to your health, to the children's health, you want to make sure that they're located not where the children can get to them. Once the soaking time's finished, you want to go to the rinse. You want to make sure you do not rinse in the tap water. You want to use sterile water only. If you were to use anything else, you would, of course, infect it and no longer would be sterile. So the solutions themselves that you make, there's no scientific data that shows how long they're actually good for. So we recommend that you make a new solution at the end of every day for cleaning. I keep having to move my bar. I'm sorry, you guys.
Michelle and Michelle, we do have a quick question. What is considered sterile water?
So you can actually take water, put it on the stove and boil it, bring it to a high boil and boil it for 5 minutes. And then that is considered sterile water, or you can purchase it from many of the different stores. It comes in a gallon jug. Once it's opened, it's good for 24 hours.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
And Once you have rinsed all your parts very well, you want to lay them out to air dry. If for some reason they are not completely dry and it's time to do your next therapy session, as long as the particles are shaken, you can reuse them for the next therapy session. Then once everything's completely air dried, you can store them in a dry container as such, an airtight container, and that will continue to keep them sterile until use. We've had lots of questions about the vest garment cleaning. They are all okay to wipe off with a clean, damp cloth or sanitizing wipes. Many of them are machine washable and dryable. And when I say many, it's all of them that are air pulse generators. The ones that do not require air pulse generator, they can only be wiped off. And you'll need to check the recommendations for the manufacturer's instructions on machine wash and dry. The actual machines themselves, they just recommend wiping them off with a damp cloth.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about like some specialty equipment if you're using the Altera nebulizer cups that go with the eFlow Rapid or the eRapid handset. So just as a reminder, cleaning and disinfecting your nebulizers are important to part of your lung health. Using contaminated nebulizer cups can lead to lung infections affecting your overall health. You want to always start the cleaning process with clean hands. You want to either use an alcohol-based sanitizer or washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water for 20 seconds. And you should always start with a clean surface wherever you're going to place your nebulizer parts. So what we're going to talk about here is the Altera and the eRapid. And as you can see, both of these devices look very similar, but you should never use anything in the Altera but Casein. The eRapid can be used for other medications. So we only want to use the Altera with Casein. And again, each day should be started with clean, disinfected nebulizer handsets. And caring for this equipment is very similar to the other equipment that we've talked about. You're going to clean it, rinse it, disinfect it, air dry, and then store. So it is recommended that if you're using the Altera, the eRapid handsets, that they should be cleaned after each use. If you're not able to clean and disinfect them after each use, you would just want to go ahead and rinse them with sterile water. So you're going to disassemble all the pieces, and you can kind of see the pieces over there. You're going to rinse each piece with warm water for 10 to 15 seconds. And you would like for the aerosol head, which I'll show you on one of the next slides, you're going to rinse it on each side for 10 seconds. Then you're going to add a few drops of liquid detergent to a clean bowl to wash all the pieces. So you're going to put them down in there, everything but the aerosol head. And you also want to use no antibacterial or nothing like a white ivory with these because it can clog the aerosol head. So you'll put all the pieces in except for the aerosol head, kind of rinse them around, swish them, let them soak, then take them out and rinse with warm water. You want to do your aerosol head separately so that you don't have, there's no damage to it. Then you're again going to place them on a clean lint-free towel, such as a paper towel. And when you put the aerosol head down, you want to make sure that you are not laying it face down to prevent any kind of damage to it. So again, if you don't have time to do all this after each treatment, you do want to go, when you're rinsing, you want to make sure that you're rinsing with sterile water. And right here, it just kind of shows you the disassembled pieces. And then I'm going to show you on the next slide, the aerosol head, kind of the part that I'm talking about that you have to be real careful with. So this is the aerosol head, and over there, it's going to show you how to kind of take it out. And also, you know, just a Reminder, the aerosol head should be rinsed on each side for 10 seconds, and you never want to use a brush or anything like that. You want to be careful about touching it because you don't want to scratch and dent it. And again, with this, you want to make sure you're using a clear liquid, nothing like antibacterial or any kind of white liquid detergent like soap, like Ivory, because it'll cause it to clog. So we want to be careful about not doing that. And the disinfecting is a little bit different when it comes to these devices because you're not going to be able to use any of the cold disinfecting. So you won't be able to use alcohol or peroxide. You also will not be able to place any of these parts in the microwave. So it's recommended that you're either going to disinfect them with a steam sterilizer. And if you're using the steam sterilizer, you're just going to follow the manufacturer's guidelines and again, allow it to dry and lay it on a completely lint-free towel. Or you can also boil them in the pot. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put the pieces down in there and you're going to cover with distilled water and boil all the pieces for 5 minutes. And again, remove them carefully and allow them to dry. And you're going to store them as well. The difference in storing these, you want to be careful about not reassembling them. You're going to wait and reassemble these prior to the next treatment. This is ensure there's no damage to the silicone seals on the both of those nebulizer sets. Just some important reminders. You want to replace these handsets every 3 to 6 months. And these handsets should be used for single patient use. And if you're using the E-Rapid handset, so if you're using the one that you can use different medications with, you want to make sure that you're rinsing them with sterile water in between medications. Again, the Altera handset should only be used with Caiston. And you be very careful when you're cleaning your aerosol head. And then again, you want to only use clear liquid dish soap for cleaning because you don't want to clog up your aerosol head because you'll get a lot of malfunctions and stuff on it. And then never place these parts in the microwave. This next slide, we just kind of wanted to share some information with y'all about the Healthwell Foundation. I'm not sure if we have a few patients that use it, but the Healthwell Foundation has a grant that is good for CF. It is, they have 2 of them, and then this one is the CF treatment. So you can go to their website and the links are on over to the right. You can apply, you'll have to apply yourself, but they'll grant you a certain amount of money based on your income. And this can cover co-pays. Also, if you're ordering your nebulizer cups, a lot of times those are hard to find and you're ordering them off of places like justnebulizers.com, you can submit those receipts to them and they will reimburse you the money so you're not having to pay for that kind of stuff out of pocket. You're able to get the money reimbursed. So again, this is the Healthwell Foundation, and it is for CF, the CF treatment fund. Does anyone have any questions?
Michelle, thank you for that session. That was wonderful and very informative. You know, we did a QI project some years ago, but every time I attend one of these, I feel like I learned even more. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Both Michelles.
I give Michelle the credit.
That's a joint effort. Does anyone have any more questions? I think we have a little bit of time. We didn't go our whole 45 minutes, but does anyone have any questions or about equipment or any general respiratory equipment answers we might have for you that we didn't cover?
I had a question about the sterilizer that you guys recommended. I don't know if you guys can give like specific brands, but I've had some fellow CF moms recommend the Wabi. Does this fall under the category that you all were discussing? As
Yeah.
safe
Yes.
sterilizer? Okay.
Yes, it does. And correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but I think it dries them as well. And they also, Wabi has a program where you can submit a letter that you or your center can submit, have them sign, and they will actually give you a discount on the
Okay.
Wabi. So a lot of centers have it, but we can try to get it for you, or you can go to their website. I had trouble getting in touch with them, so I had to go through Facebook. But you can actually apply, and I don't know how much. Do you know how much the discount is, Michelle?
I do not.
But I do know that they will offer you a discount for CF patients.
Mhm.
That
And
might-
I also, too, we talked about using sterilization, and that was one thing. The Wabi is that, I mean, there may be others out there that have dryers with them, but it's very important to not leave your equipment in the steam sterilizer until the next day when you go to begin, because they have found bacteria and mold spore growth in the sterilizers. So if there's not an actual heater system on it, then they do need to be removed, shaked all the water off, and then again set on the dry lint-free cloth to dry.
Okay.
Good question.
Yes, good question.
Those Wabis too are also, I know all my patients in my center have used them. They've had great results with them if they've not had to send them back, but they are 100% guaranteed lifetime. And so I've had one family need to send it back, and it was because some of the water kind of splashed out and onto the burner portion when they were filling it with the sterile water or the distilled water. And they had no problem getting it switched out.
Oh, good.
I have one other question, and it's a simple one, and this is regarding a spacer device. And my question is, how many times a year should we have those changed out for the meter dose inhalers?
I think I know it depends on the manufacturers that you use. Ours that we use, they recommend every 6 months.
That's what I was gonna say, every 6
Mhm.
months. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those are not sterilizable either. So it's real important to look at the manufacturer's recommendation on cleaning for those. There are a few that are dishwasher safe in the top shelf, but I just recommend to find out what type your center uses and follow the recommendations on the manufacturer.
Yeah, I believe ours that we use are every 6 months. And I will say the Arabica, it does say, or Arabica, however you say that, it does say that you can put that in the dishwasher, but I did have a family that put theirs on the sterilizing mode and it melted it. So I would, be a little careful about that.
Those actually too, I received not too long ago, but those have been extended to a year.
Yeah.
Changing out every year instead of 6 months now.
Anybody else have any questions? I don't know how we go back to our big session. I guess they'll bring us back to it.
I don't remember. I thought we could, if we just ended. On the right-hand side, I think if you put leave room, it'll take you back to the main one.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, how many parents do we have on here?
I counted a total of 6 on registration, including the 2 of us for the first session, but over almost 20 for the second
Okay.
breakout session. I apologize for being late. Traffic was not kind to me today.
Yeah, I've been in Knoxville traffic before. It's
No, but you know, I really have to thank you guys. This session, it's very nice and very concisely put together. And the important thing is it's easy to understand and you conveyed all the key points. You know, things like sterile water, it's not something one would think of, right? The fact of not using, for instance, not using tap water, you know, that's all, those are all very important things to bring out.
Our hope is that they'll be able to download, these and use them for later reference if possible, if need be. So hopefully they'll have access to these.
Yes. I think she shared them. I know I sent them to her, so hopefully y'all are able to get a copy of them if you need them.
And I think we just had a message from Lee telling us we have 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I saw that we have 15 more minutes. She told us that we could leave somehow, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think can you see on the bottom right-hand corner where it says leave?
I think it's because I'm sharing this screen that I can't see anything.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just wait till they
Kick
Or
us out.
actually, if you went to stop screen sharing,
oh, okay.
if your presentation is done, try the thing at the top, stop sharing.
Let's see. Oh, well, I had one more fancy slide I need to show y'all. Thank you for attending.
Thank you guys so much.
We appreciate y'all coming to us. So
Absolutely. There's several videos too, I think, that Michelle had placed on there for reference as a part of our reference sources. And those are really good videos also that are from the CF Foundation and that are very brief but to the point as well, that we found to be very helpful.
Yeah, all of those videos are linked right there, and they're pretty helpful, pretty clear, concise instructions as well too, if anybody would want to go back and watch those just to kind of see.
I see Maddie just put it in the chat also for anybody interested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Maddie.
Of course.
Yes, thank you, Maddie.
Oh,
So yes, I do have one more question, and this is again more, you know, like housekeeping, as in at any time, you know, how many nebulizer cups can we write for? You know, if I were to write, I would write for maybe 20 or so.
that'd be
I don't
great.
know that there's a direct answer for that one. I think a lot of those medicines, sometimes they send. And
Right.
it depends on the pharmacy as well. They'll send, I know at one point they were sending the Paris with the hypersal.
Yes,
Um,
but not anymore, I think.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if there's a specific, I guess it, you know, as always, depend on the insurance company, what they, you know, I'm sure, Michelle Taggett, you probably have the same thing. It seems like we have a hard time getting the right equipment sometimes.
We really do. We typically will write for, of course, as many neb cups as there are medicines, because we don't ever mix medicines in the same cup. And then we'll send a letter of medical necessity explaining our reason why. And that has helped. And I know that on the side of the durable medical equipment companies, they've been inventive on how they send it to the insurance company. So the patient will still receive the 3 that they need for the 6 months in the beginning. And then the DME will eventually get paid for 3 through that 6 months.
And
So
that Health Well
that's one thing.
Foundation is very helpful. I've had several patients talk about being able to use that to be, they can go to that Just Nebulizers order, and then that money can be reimbursed to them through that if they're having to pay out of pocket.
You can also, too, some of your representatives that visit your office, they'll authorize us some side stream nebulizer samples, which are actually 6-month kits. So we're able to give those out as additional to be used, with anything but Toby. So that helps our patient as well.
Yeah, we get nebulizers too. And then we've kind of started a respiratory closet too as well at our center. So that can be helpful to people. I don't know if anybody's on here from Le Bonheur, but we have the sterilizing bags too, if anyone would like to try those.
And full disclosure, I pick up these things at the CF meeting usually and bring it back to you guys, Michelle.
Yes. Oh, you're Michelle. Okay.
Yes, Michelle Jones.
Yes. There's also, I know the HealthWell Foundation, but some of the companies that we can send our patients to get vitamins, they also will provide things that the children can get on and play certain types of games and ask certain questions. And some of those prizes can also be nebulizer cups. I know some of our families do that as well. Looks like we got pulled in.
I stopped sharing.
Oh, okay.
I hope I can find my way back to sharing.
You will.
Oh, I guess I'm asking her to unmute, but I didn't mean to.
I wonder if we're in, I guess we're the only ones on here.
Yeah, I think we're the only ones. We have like 8 more minutes, I think, before we'll go to the.
Well, happy Respiratory Care Week to everyone.
Yeah, happy
that
Respiratory
may be
Care Week to
watching. Thank you.
Yes, and happy respiratory care. And actually, Maddie's on. Maddie, you may be able to help us. If we were to leave this room, would we go into the bigger room?
I think you should go to the big room, but if for some reason you did get kicked out, you could just join back in through the same link. But I think if you
Okay.
click leave room, it should take you back into the main waiting room with Lee.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. We appreciate y'all. If you have any questions, just let us know or ask your friendly respiratory therapist.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay.